Today in the show, I'm going to be answering the question, what is dramatical murder? This is a quick disclaimer before we get started. Dramatical Murder is a boys love visual novel game that explores homosexual relationships. If homosexual relationships make you feel uncomfortable, please stop watching now and go and watch one of my other videos that are about comic books. I have lots of videos coming out for you this week, this month, and through the rest of the year. This is just a one-off video. So Dramatical Murder is a boys love visual novel game from Japan that, yes, does have sex scenes in it. In fact, every single ending in the game contains a sex scene, but that's not the focus of the game. The game actually has a very, very interesting setting, and the character development is phenomenal. This is what a visual novel should be in terms of character development and setting. I absolutely love it. So let's get right into it. Dramatical Murder is a boys love visual novel game originally for Windows PC. It later had a sequel, Dramatical Murder Reconnect, and then even later on had a PS Vita port called Dramatical Murder Recoded. Now Recoded was totally safe for work. It was rated 15+, unlike the original 18+ of the original game. In Recoded, there were a lot of changes. For example, blood was toned down in scenes where there was blood. There were no sex scenes, all of those were replaced by light kissing. Any passionate kissing was replaced once again with light kissing, and butts were replaced with boxes. The story of the game is still the same, and I absolutely love the story, and this is actually the first version of the game that I played, and I found it really, really enjoyable. In the sequel, Dramatical Murder Reconnect, you get everything that was in the original game and more, meaning you get all of the original storylines, which all originally ended on a cliffhanger, and then you get closure to that cliffhanger. Also, confessions are extended, and I think there's about 3 or 4 more new endings. But most importantly, the main character, Alba, he finally gets a backstory, and it's actually one of my favorite backstories from a visual novel game. This version of the game is most definitely not safe for work, and you should only play it if you're over 18 years of age. In fact, there are only 2 stories in the game that don't contain any mature content, and that's Alba's backstory and Mizuki's ending. So the game follows a boy called Alba, and he lives on an island called Midorojima. Now this island was recently taken over by a corporation, so the whole island is privatized, and all of the residents of the island are forced to live cramped together in the old residential district. Alba just wants to keep his head down and live a nice, simple, non-violent life, because there's a lot of gang activity on this island as well. But eventually, a series of events happen, and Alba ends up getting dragged into this game called Rhyme that a lot of people play on this island. And it turns out, this isn't just a game. Recently, people have been disappearing and would eventually turn back up, but when they do turn back up, they're not themselves anymore. They're mentally damaged. While Alba's all wrapped up in this, he ends up meeting a whole range of characters who you can either help or help destroy. Either way, you help in some kind of way, which is good. It's also worth saying that Alba finds out a lot about himself, like why he has this weird ability to influence people a lot with his voice. He's been able to do it for most of his life, and he doesn't understand why. I really enjoy this game. The story is absolutely fantastic. I will admit, I do like some endings more than others. Like, my favorite ending is probably Noise's ending, because I really, really like the character of Noise, and I like where his story takes place. I think that is the most interesting setting in all of the game. If you are over 18 years of age, I recommend you play Dramatical Murder. And if you are over 15 years of age, but not quite 18 yet, I recommend you play Dramatical Murder Recoded. I don't think it's out in English though. I think you have to be able to read Japanese to play it. Dramatical Murder also had an anime adaptation, which I didn't actually watch, but I heard it wasn't phenomenal, which is why I didn't watch it. But if it's on Crunchyroll, I'll put links down below to where you can get 14 days free of Crunchyroll Premium membership. And if you choose to continue that membership, Crunchyroll give me a high five and like, hey, thanks for referring one of your subscribers, dude. And I'm like, no problem, Crunchyroll.
It's super effective!
Okay guys, that is it for today. So what do you think of Dramatical Murder? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history videos. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, support the show by checking out my Patreon so I can make bigger and better and more history videos. And also don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.